The night that changed everything, I wore a red gown worth more than my in-laws' entire monthly mortgage, though naturally they had no clue. To them I was just the poor girl who had somehow ensnared their beloved son Thomas. I'm Rebecca Jang. For 2 years I played the part of a struggling artist marrying into an elite family, letting Thomas's relatives believe they had me figured out. In reality, I was the quiet CEO of Jang International, one of Asia's biggest tech conglomerates. But that was a secret I kept close. Did you find that at a thrift store? Amanda, my sister-in-law, sneered as I stepped into the Bradley Foundation's annual charity gala. She wore a designer dress from last season, a choice I had dismissed as tasteless. Something like that, I said, adjusting a necklace of fake diamonds that had actually belonged to my grandmother, and was worth more than Amanda's whole closet. Eleanor Bradley, my mother-in-law, glided over like a predator circling prey. "Rebecca," she cooed, her tone dripping with false concern, "you really should have let us pick out something appropriate. We can't have people thinking the Bradleys don't take care of their own." "That's sweet, but I'm fine," I replied evenly. I'd learned long ago that serenity irritated them far more than confrontation ever could. The Bradleys had old money, or at least what they considered old money. Their company, Bradley Investments, managed a tidy $50 million portfolio. Comfortable, yes, but nowhere near the billions my family controlled. I didn't care about wealth, but I did enjoy the irony of their constant digs about my supposed poverty. Across the room I spotted Thomas, deep in conversation with potential investors. He caught my gaze and winked. Thomas knew my truth. He had from the start. We met at a business conference, I speaking under an alias, and he figured me out. Instead of being intimidated, he found it captivating. We'd fallen for each other through late-night talks on business strategy and a shared obsession with terrible sci-fi films. "I don't understand why you let them treat you like this," he'd said in the early days of our marriage. "I want to see people as they really are," I'd explained. Money changes how people act. I learned that the hard way during my first marriage. Yes, my first marriage. Another favorite topic of my in-laws, whispered about as though it were a scandalous contagion. The gala was in full swing when chaos struck. I was chatting with an elderly couple about their philanthropy when Amanda collided with me, spilling red wine across my dress. "Oh my gosh, I'm such a klutz," she laughed. "But don't worry, it's not like your dress was expensive anyway." I dabbed at the stain without a hint of panic. Inside I was grinning. The gown was specially treated. The wine would simply roll away. Another little secret. That was when Eleanor seized the moment for her grand pronouncement. She clinked her glass, drawing everyone's attention. "Thank you all for joining us tonight," she began. "The Bradley Foundation is expanding our efforts, particularly to empower underprivileged women. And we have a perfect example right here. My daughter-in-law Rebecca comes from humble beginnings, yet we've graciously taken her under our wing, teaching her proper social etiquette." The room fell silent. I noticed Thomas striding toward us, his expression dark with barely contained anger. Eleanor pressed on, sharp and deliberate. "Some people, however, can't be taught class. They remain gold diggers, trying to climb the social ladder by ensnaring wealthy men," Amanda chimed in, sounding like she'd rehearsed the line a dozen times. "Mother's right. We tried to help you, Rebecca, but you'll never fit in here. You're a disgrace. Why don't you leave? I'm sure some little coffee shop would love to hire you." I stood silently, letting their insults roll over me. After 2 years of carefully biding my time, my moment had finally arrived. "You know what?" I said softly. "You're right. I don't belong here." Eleanor's smug smile only made what came next even more satisfying. "I don't belong here," I continued, "because unlike you, I don't flaunt donations to feel important. Unlike you, I don't tear others down to feel powerful. And unlike you, I'm not losing sleep over Bradley Investments' floundering portfolio." Eleanor paled. What do you mean?" she stammered. I pulled out my phone, casually scrolling my messages. "Oh, by the way, My company just finalized the acquisition of Morrison and Stanley, the investment firm. Amanda frowned. What does that have to do with anything? Everything, I said. Thomas arrived just in time, grinning. Because Morrison and Stanley manage all of Bradley Investments' accounts, and my wife's company now owns them. The glass slipped from Eleanor's hand and shattered on the marble floor. Your company, Amanda whispered. I smiled and let my hair fall loose. Jang International. Ring a bell. We're a pretty big name in tech, valued at about $12 billion. Eleanor grabbed a chair for support. That's impossible. You're just a gold digger. Cut her off. A struggling artist, yes. Funny what people assume when they're too busy looking down their noses to notice what's right in front of them. And that was only the beginning. The events that followed would shake the Bradley family to its core. The silence was thick, almost tangible. I could practically hear Eleanor's mind racing, recalculating every misstep she'd made. Even if what you're saying is true, she finally muttered, voice trembling, Bradley Investments is still independent. You can't touch us. I swiped my phone. About that. Thomas glanced at his watch with a flourish. 9:45 p.m., darling. Perfect, I said. The filings went through just minutes ago. You see, Eleanor, Bradley Investments has been bleeding money. Your real estate expansion last year was reckless, forcing you into high-interest loans just to maintain appearances. Amanda went pale, then green. How do you know that? Those records are private. Nothing's private when you own the bank, I murmured. As of 9 o'clock tonight, Jang International holds every loan Bradley Investments ever took. Oh, and this building. Bought it last week. Eleanor wobbled. This building belongs to the Bradley Foundation. Thomas stepped in. The board voted to sell it due to financial troubles. They just didn't tell you. Probably because you were too busy plotting ways to humiliate your daughter-in-law to attend the last 3 meetings. By now, the room had drawn a crowd, the city's elite leaning in to watch the spectacle. Phones discreetly recorded every second. By morning it would be all over social media. You can't do this, Eleanor whispered. We're family. I laughed softly. Family, Eleanor. For 2 years, you've called me a gold digger at every opportunity. You've sabotaged my charity work, spread lies about my past, and even tried to set Thomas up with other women. Tonight, you attempted to humiliate me in front of everyone who matters in this city. A philanthropic circle. Is that really how family treats one another? Asked, my voice steady. Amanda stepped forward, panic flickering in her eyes. We can fix this. Daddy will handle it. He always knows how to make things right. Your father already knows, Thomas said sharply. Do you think he approved the sale without knowing everything? He's known about Rebecca's true identity for months. He tried to warn both of you, but you ignored him. Eleanor's face twisted with fury. Richard would never go behind my back. Actually, Eleanor, Richard Bradley, Thomas's father, appeared from the crowd. He looked weary but resolute. I've spent years watching you and Amanda misuse your wealth, turning it into a weapon, believing money makes you superior. When Thomas told me the truth about Rebecca, I saw an opportunity to teach you both a lesson. Daddy! Amanda cried. How could you do this? Richard's tone was firm. Rebecca's company isn't just taking over our assets, they're restructuring the entire foundation. The Bradley Foundation will continue its mission, but under leadership that actually understands philanthropy. I stepped forward, calm but resolute. Starting tomorrow, the foundation will focus on educational programs for underprivileged women. Genuine change, not publicity stunts. Eleanor, you and Amanda have a choice. A real choice. Eleanor spat. Yes. You can stay as regular staff and learn what it truly means to help people, or leave with your personal assets, I said, letting the words sink in. Which, by the way, are far smaller than you imagine. Thomas and his father have agreed to this arrangement. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Eleanor Bradley, the queen of society, being offered a regular position by her poor daughter-in-law. It was deliciously ironic. "This is absurd," Amanda screamed. "Mother, stop them." But Eleanor's anger had shifted into something else. Fear. She finally realized just how drastically her world had changed. "Why?" she murmured. "Why go through all this? You could have destroyed us instantly." I leaned closer, speaking just to her. "Because money and power aren't weapons. They're responsibilities. I wanted you to feel what it's like to be judged and dismissed based on appearances. Now you have a chance to learn what true value means." 2 weeks later, the headlines read, "Bradley Foundation announces major restructuring. New focus on women's education." Eleanor and Amanda chose to stay, though the transition wasn't easy. Eleanor now works in program development and admitted she's finally finding genuine purpose. Amanda runs the outreach programs and, just last week, apologized to me for the first time. Thomas and I still attend charity events, but everything has changed. No more games, no more status battles. We concentrate on real impact, real help for those who need it. I still wear that red dress sometimes, wine stain and all, as a reminder that worth isn't in what you wear or own. It's in how you treat others. Richard has retired but remains on our board, proudly watching his son and daughter-in-law build something meaningful. At a recent family dinner, Eleanor asked me to explain impact investing. "I want to do better," she said softly. "I want to be better." And that, more than any revenge, was the victory I'd wanted all along. Some nights, Thomas asks if I miss being the secret billionaire. I just smile, showing him the latest reports from our programs. Hundreds of women receiving opportunities they never imagined. Why would I miss it? Tell him. This is a far better story.